Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan and and this is part 2 of our challenge, Battle for a New Champion cast breakdown. In part 1, we broke down the female cast, and now we're going to go through all the men. If you're only interested in the women, go find that video on YouTube or Spotify. It should be right below or on the sidebar. But literally, we took our podcast, split into 2 parts, so you're going to listen to us jump right into our talk about the male cast. I'm going to be joined by my co-host Luke Muncie. We're going to go through each cast member one by one, talk about it, and yeah, just giving our thoughts on the season. Hope you all enjoy. Have a great day. Let's go. Who do you want to kick off with for the men?
Kieran.
That's actually one I have a lot of thoughts about, and I love the Kieran casting from the Challenge Australia. Kieran is like one of the most notorious like playboys, adulterers, fuckboys in like Australian reality TV history. On the first night of Challenge Australia, he cheated on his girlfriend at home, and it looked like, your typical Challenge scumbag. And then he had a really endearing storyline of he was trying to like become a better person for his girlfriend, and he was a really good competitor in the challenges where he showed so much heart, and he was actually like a very like a layered character that we don't see on reality TV often. And like I was cheering for him. Like instead of thinking he was just a total douche, I was like, this guy is fascinating.
Loved Kieran. If you asked me one guy to be on this season from Challenge Australia, it would be him. And for the girls, it would be Jessica. So I kind of won in that sense. I wish they would play more into the fact that they were exes, and maybe they will, but they didn't on their original season, nor do they talk about the situation with Kiki, but just for like a second. But I think that's important to fans understanding them. I think he's so good. He got second, correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, he Challenge Australia. Second, I want to say this as well. They had a bunch of challenges on that season, never came in last place, won an elimination against Grant, who's a good competitor, won a daily challenge, second in that final against Troy, who's a beast. Like Kieran is solid, and like he just has that like ability in the daily challenges where he just throws himself into them, and it's just like I enjoy watching him compete. I actually like have fun watching him in the daily challenges.
Correct. And not that I want him to cheat on his girlfriend again, but it did make for a fun blip of television. I wish he would have won Australia. I like the guy that won. Forget his name because he is forgettable. He's nice as, the next person, I guess. But imagine a world where Kieran wins next to Kiki. They're exes. It's funny. It's a good storyline. But instead we get Ninja. Did he go by Ninja too?
Troy.
Troy. Okay. Did they call him Ninja occasionally? Am I wrong in that?
I think they did.
Okay. But yeah, Kieran, all in. He's going to be great, except for he's an outsider like Jessica, so he'll probably get targeted first, which I hate. If you're going to do this international thing, you've got to give them more, which I don't want either. So as much as I love these people, I don't need them on the show. But hopefully he proves himself. Again.
It's super important to note, though. You said don't cheat on his girlfriend. They broke up.
Oh.
So he's coming into the season.
Philander away.
He's coming into the single, which I think actually helps his chances a lot in terms of like mingling and hooking up and creating showmances and alliances. I think he's going to be a fun guy. So if they were going to cast like an outsider to do well on this show, it would be a guy like Kieran. Similar to him, though, like kind of fits the exact same prototype. It's Callum from the Challenge UK, who is also, he likes to hook up. He likes to party. He went to the final of the Challenge UK, but he's not nearly as good of a competitor as Kieran. He lost his final by more than an hour. Didn't win a daily, didn't win an elimination, just coasted there. He's a vibes guy.
He's a vibes guy. I did enjoy him on X on the Peach. I hope the other 12 people who watched that season liked him too. So if you remember on World Championship when Nathan got sick and had to leave, Callum was the person they called to come in, and he said no. So I'm a little bit shocked that he agreed to do this season. Maybe the stakes were less high, of course, because there were no champs. I hope that he does well, but I don't have high expectations.
If he does anything of substance, I think I'll be happy. I don't have any expectations. I don't think he's going to win, but he can prove something. If he could win some eliminations or maybe get some showmances and some drama going, then I'll be happy with the casting. I don't hate this casting compared to some other ones. I'll talk about a casting I dislike, actually. Chanty, who Really nice guy. Great smile. Good looking dude. New father. Him
I
and
don't
Amber
know
just
that
had a
he's
kid.
I don't know that he's also nice either. He's like recently said some messed up. I don't know, but yeah, I'm with you.
Okay,
Sorry.
potentially not nice guy Chauncey. Don't like the casting. The guy is an absolute like physical like Adonis type guy, but we watched him in like 15, 16 daily challenges on Ride or Dies, and he was just never really good at anything. He can't really do puzzles. He can't swim. His cardio isn't the best. I just don't really know what he brings to the table, especially because he can't hook up with anyone on this show because he's got a baby at home with Amber. I don't see it.
I'm so with you. It's such a disadvantage. Not that I advocate for anybody to cheat, genuinely, but there are people that cheat on the show, and it's kind of inconsequential to us because we don't know their significant other. But if he cheated on Amber B after she had a baby, and we've grown to love her, it's not a good look for him. I fear that's going to be his only storyline. I'm doing this for Amber. I'm doing this for their baby, whose name is Sunflower. I don't know. He was a bad casting choice. He was cast only because he's with Amber B.
And there are gonna be people who say like, "Oh, we want to see like an actual dad on the challenge trying to win for his family." No, you don't. You want CT to do that because you've been watching CT for 15 years. You don't know Chauncey. You're never gonna know Chauncey really, honestly, on this show. He's not gonna bring much to the table. I hope him and Amber have a great life because I think they have a lovely relationship out there, like what we saw on Ride or Dies. I hope they're doing well. But I don't really want him on my reality TV show right now. If he comes in, wins a bunch of eliminations, starts drama, I fully support that. But right now, as of right now, not excited with the casting.
Correct. And I feel like he's within the same vein as Mariah. They don't have that previous reality TV experience. Like, they just aren't made for this. And if he won, I'd be like, cool, Amber and him are like champs together. That's not fun. I want to see Jen and Zach do that first. I want to see, Holly and Cara of all people before that. If Zoe were here, she would scoff and roll her eyes. But Chauncey, yeah, but we can move on from him.
Let's stay on the negativity train a bit. Let's keep it going. Next up we got James Locke, who, if you don't know him, he was on the Challenge UK for one episode. He fractured both his eye sockets in 10 seconds in the first daily challenge of the season. To add insult to injury, he went to elimination, lost. He's been on UK reality TV for a long time, and the guy has an incredible body up top. Up top only. Like the guy skips leg day. I don't think like we've never seen like a bodybuilder type person like that do well in the challenge, so I don't think he's gonna do well competitively. He's a bit older for this show to debut as a rookie. I'm not excited for James at all.
Waste of a spot. Genuinely. He broke his face on the Challenge UK. Oh. And this might just be really negative because the Challenge UK sucked. For that to be 5 episodes, don't even make the season. There were better guys from that season that you could have had on, but whatever.
Fully agree. Waste of a casting. Who do you want to talk about next?
Assaf. I love Assaf. Okay. I've seen people tweet about his personal ideologies, don't know anything about them, so can't speak for it. I have loved Assaf since Are You the One 3. He was one of the only tolerable people from that season, or not 3, Are You the One 4, excuse me. He was one of the only tolerable people from that season. He was so good on Are You the One Second Chances. He aligned himself friendship-wise with my all-time favorite reality TV personality, Shanley McEntee, or McKenty, however you pronounce it. I don't know, he's been on so many different things. He's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. He's been on So You Think You Can Dance. He's been on all these cooking shows. He's been on Big Brother Israel and won the entire thing. He is truly like a reality star. Now, on his last season, they did not play into the fact that he knew Tori or that he was on Are You the One. They just talked about Big Brother Israel, which didn't make sense at all to me. So hopefully this time they actually talk about his background or like give him more credit because he's also MTV at its base.
fixing my camera right now.
You're good. I kept talking. I don't know if you
You're
could still
good.
hear me.
Just want to make sure it's okay. So let's see. Make sure it's frozen for a while. Okay, good.
Do I need to repeat?
Yeah.
I can do less. I can do less. I was going long because I
Do it again. Do it again. Let's just to be safe. Let's just do it again.
Okay, so Assaf. I love Assaf. I know he has personal ideologies that people have been tweeting about recently that might be a little iffy. I don't know a thing about them. Like, I don't. So don't press me because I don't care because I don't know a thing about them. I just know that he's from Israel. He was one of the only tolerable people from Are You the One 4. That season sucked so bad. Loved him on that season. Loved him on Are You the One Second Chances. Afterwards, he was friends with my all-time favorite reality TV personality, Shanley. God, what a missed opportunity for this show. She's over it. Good for her. He's been on So You Think You Can Dance. He's been on RuPaul's Drag Race as of recently. He's been on cooking shows. He's been on like various random reality TV shows and lots of reality shows in Israel. And he won Big Brother Israel. His track record is pretty long. I just wish they would lean into that he is MTV. Like, that's his origin. But they didn't when he was on with Tori, who he'd hooked up with, and they were friends then. So I doubt we're going to get that. I'm excited to see him back just because I like him. Will he do well? He didn't do so hot on Total Madness, but I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna just dive into something for a second. Had he not lost that first elimination on Total Madness, he would have gone much further, and we would have never had Casey and Nani. Genuinely believe, because Nani was all in on him. And then once he was gone, she was able to just flirt friendly with Casey. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong.
I was ready to talk about Assaf, and then you just took us into a right-hand turn of like Nani and Casey's engagement done. Nani's just over, completely out of this world.
So for those that don't like Assaf, be thankful that he is back, because if he had lasted all season and won, he would have ruined their potential marriage. Love Assaf.
I agree with you. He's a ball of energy. He's really interesting to watch on these reality shows. Like, it comes off as fake, but that's just kind of who he is as a person. He, as you mentioned, like, he was on So You Think You Can Dance, and he went very far on that show. He finished in the top 20. He did like Celebrity Ninja Warrior, and he passed the first stage. The guy is very coordinated. He's a very athletic. At the same time, I watched Are You the One Second Chances like you did. He's an idiot. Like, this guy is just a flat out idiot. Like, he's just not. He does stuff without thinking, which is good for reality TV. But competing on this show, you got to be able to think a little bit.
And I agree. My question is, and I've not seen anything about it, how did he win Big Brother Israel? How did this happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
I need to look into that.
I believe it's well, I believe those shows are more fan votes.
Okay.
Like,
so he's
I
got
think
good charisma. Yeah.
Yeah. He's very likable. You know, he's just an idiot. Like, they're just pretty flat out. Like, he's one of the dumbest humans I've ever seen on reality TV. But he's talented. Like, he has natural skills. Just doesn't really think anything through. He just does without doing, which I wish I had a little bit more of that in me. It will kill you in an elimination, though. It will, like, literally end your game in like 12 seconds. So that's the biggest fear with Assaf. Or he'll do something like throw himself into elimination as like an act of courage or something like that. He doesn't think things through, but I agree with you. Like, natural reality TV character.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about the person who eliminated him on Total Madness. Let's talk about Jay.
Fun fact, and I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong, so I'm going to say this and maybe take it back. Jay, when I heard the cast, was one of the standouts that I think could take it all. He is a sleeper as far as his build goes. The dude's strong. He's got good endurance. He's got good social game. He's very connected with the women. He makes friends easily with the men. I like Jay. Him being on makes me wish Michaela Bradshaw was on. We need to get them back on a season together. Why has this not happened? They've both done the main show. She's on USA. He's on this redemption-esque season. But aside from that, I'm happy with it. I think he's got a girlfriend, so he's not going to hook up, but I don't really watch Jay to see if he's going to like get a new girl because all of his on-screen romances have been weird to me. Sorry, but they have been. I think he's going to be good TV.
I agree, and I think a lot of people like you saw Jay as like an immediate like threat to win. And even he's talked about like if I can get to a final, he feels like he has all the skills because he does have the cardio, the swimming, the eating, the puzzle abilities. Like if he gets there, he can win.
I'm jumping in and I'm so sorry. This was the other girl. And it makes sense with Jay, so bear with me. Morgan Willette needed to be on the women's side. I listened to her podcast with John A, and she said she was called and she declined because she had a pre-scheduled trip to Bali for 17 days, which she went on. And she also doesn't know if she wanted to because she didn't know if Bananas would be on. She would have made perfect sense on this cast, especially with Jay. Back to Jay, I'm sorry.
And you throw Mariah in the mix there too, and maybe
Right.
or you just maybe take it off the can. I don't know. Jay is obviously like people see the good in Jay a lot. There's also a lot of negatives to Jay though, where like he's done like people are like, oh, he's one of the most experienced players. He's done 3 seasons. He's never finished top 8. After that win against CT, he's lost 3 eliminations in a row. We saw Jay win 2 daily challenges last season in really impressive fashion, and then just not use the power well at all. He played a sloppy game, and people blame Michelle, but he's one half of the pair. Same thing happened on Double Agents. He won the mini final with Teresa. He took the heat, not realizing like, oh wait, Cam and Leroy are gonna come back for me. Like it's a recurring theme. When he blindsided Michaela, he put himself at the numbers disadvantage from the game on. The guy's not a good strategic player. He just isn't.
You're making me sick because you're right. Him and Teresa could have won Double Agents, by the way. Had they made it to the final, I believe they could have won, but she ruined that. I forget how sloppy him and Michelle played last season.
It was awful. It was really bad. When they didn't nominate Bananas one week, then they nominated them the next week. Then they threw in Jordan because Jordan got in under his skin, and Jordan was talking crap to him as they're in the crowd. It was an embarrassing season. Like, the embarrassing way to go down. Like, they self-combusted.
Yeah, it was great for Michelle because I think it's made her a staple that's like a little chaotic. For Jay, he just looked a little reactive.
Bad look for him, especially like the Jordan stuff where Jordan was just getting under his skin like it was nobody's business. And I will say the thing that will always be the shadow over Jay is his size, where as good of a competitor as he is, people will always remember that balls in elimination with Rogan and they'll want to see him in a headbanger. It's why players like Jay, like Kahada and stuff like that don't usually win challenge championships because at the end of the game, they're the people you pick to face in a headbanger elimination. Size doesn't matter, but size does matter at the same time. It gives you like a much less margin for error. So Jay has to play a phenomenal game for him to win. I do think it is possible because he has connections, he has skills, but you can't fuck up.
Right.
Though there aren't as many big guys on this cast as there would be on a typical season, to which the biggest guy on this cast is Corey Lay by a massive margin. He is like I'm not even saying it. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. Like there's no Fessy, there's no CT. Corey Lay's like 6'3", 230, and I think he has a good path to the final just based on the fact nobody will want to face him in elimination.
True. I hate Corey Lay so much. Okay, I'm gonna give him a chance though. He just has tweeted me the most insane things before, like the craziest things. And I can't even remember what I said, but it wasn't that chaotic. So it was on my new Twitter account. I don't tweet that chaotic on that account. And it wasn't even like adding him. He like found me and like screenshotted my pictures and like posted them. It was very, very strange. So I have a weird thought about him. That aside, I do kind of want to see him do well. I think he has a great storyline. I'm willing to push that to the side because I like a crazy reality TV personality. He's crazy as hell. He, like you said, I think he could just easily coast the final. Don't see why I couldn't.
Corey is one of those people where like I know if I post a blog, Corey's read it within like 10 minutes of me posting it. He is one of those, like, he's all in on this show. He's invested. Uh, the biggest enemy to him is himself,
Mm-hmm.
where inserting himself into people's business, not knowing when to shut up. Those are Corey's issues in this game. Other than that, like, he's a tall, athletic, fit guy who works as a game designer who should be good at puzzles. Like this game should be built for him. It's only whether or not he will be in his own way.
True. More reason for Michaela to have been on the season, considering that they were supposed to be on Ride or Dies, and she dropped, and he had a meltdown, which I get. You want to be on the show. I get it. But, like, he was very public with it, which I didn't like. But again, I'm going to give him credit because this is what I look for in a reality TV star. So I can't be biased just because he tweeted at me crazy. So, Corey, you might have a little bit of love for me this season. He's not listening. Well, he might be listening because he listens to a lot. I don't know. Don't tweet me mean stuff.
Next up, the person who eliminated Corey on Spies, Lies, and Allies, we got Huey. And Luke is not excited by Huey, but I will say Huey was part of, I would say, two of the more entertaining eliminations in recent memory, where him cursing out Corey in that elimination after Corey called him out was just hysterical. And then when he couldn't climb up a pole because he had his Brazilian butt lift blocking the way, I thought that was fucking hilarious as well. So I don't think he's gonna do well on the show, but Luke, give your thoughts.
I thought we'd never see Michelle again after Huey beat her. I was devastated. We've, of course, seen her 15 times since, which is fun. Waste. Okay, less of a waste than he was on Spies, Lies, and Allies when they were partners. Like, Ashley's lucky she did not get thrown in with him. They would have been done for, which I guess he won twice, so maybe not. But he is a wasted casting spot. He doesn't have these pre-existing friends that he can go in and have fun with. Like, who does he have from a season that he got along with and enjoyed and talked to? No one. I mean, him and Corey like sometimes speak, but like they had beef on the show. I don't think that's going to transcend 2 years later, and he's just not good. You talked about on the women's side, there are definitely people who are expected to go at different tiers. He definitely is possible first boot. Like, throw him in against Corey Lay in a physical elimination, it's a no-brainer. Corey would have to have had a heart attack and died to have lost to Huey. And even then, he might still beat him. God, what a waste.
First elimination win with a heart attack and death.
Right.
making history. The problem with Huey is that he's a first boot, which like wouldn't be an issue if there weren't a lot of people on this cast who should be first boots on the male side. Because it means that we're going to get more episodes of someone here that we're not excited to see, who's not going to bring anything to the table, and that's the worst part of the show. When you're talking about a cast earlier where like, well, what if we had Brittany? What if we had Natalie? What if we had it would be gutting every episode to like lose people. This season, it's like, God, can we get rid of this person? Can we get rid of this person?
You know what? That's what makes the show at its best what you want to see. Like, you hate to see them go, but like it evokes a real emotion. When Huey goes, I'm not going to say if, because let's be realistic. When Huey goes, I'm going to say, it's 10:30. It's time for bed. I'm not going to want to get on Twitter and see what people have to say. I'm not going to want to like tweet my own thoughts about it. He's funny. He's going to bring entertainment. Sure. I'm being probably too harsh on him. But like, good for him for answering the call. But if you're casting, why him?
There really is no answer to that question. The only reason you bring on Huey is so that Kieran gets a couple elimination wins, against people like Huey, so you keep them in a little longer. Like that's really the only argument at this point I see. It's a mess. There's too many people like that on the show.
You're right. You give an elimination win to someone you're trying to put out as a new face. I'm with you. It makes you think more critically than I do about this, and it's clicking. So I needed to hear this.
But it's like, even then, it's like, why do we have four? Why do we have a Huey, a Chauncey, a James? Like, why do we have three of them? Why do we have three first boots on this cast?
No clue. You wait, and I'm going to wait to the end, but you wait till my ideas for who should have been cast. But I'll wait till the end.
All right, next up we got who we have left here. Let's talk about Kyland.
Stellar casting, by the way. Kyland on USA 1, It's so funny. I got flashbacks to me, you, and Zoe talking about it, how he was doing so well. And we were like, his pride's going to get in the way and he's going to go. And we knew the spoilers. We weren't like predicting the future, but we didn't know exactly what happened. And that's kind of what happened. He's a good reality TV personality because he's messy. Messy, but he can back it up. On Big Brother, he was calculated. He played a good game. When he left, whoa, messy. I mean, a little bit on the verge of like, this isn't good, but like it was good TV, so what do we care? Challenge USA, he was a pretty dominant force. He's pretty involved in the reality TV world with people. I think that this is good for him. He's going to hook up, I feel. He's probably going to make it far. And he's a good Big Brother rookie. I mean, I know he's not a rookie because he was on USA, but I'm excited to see what he does.
I fully agree with you, actually. We were all in on the Kyland hype train on USA 2 or USA 1. It was Kyland and Tyson were the two clear top guys, and then everyone else was just on the show. He was killing daily challenges, he was winning eliminations, and he seemed like a student of the game. But as you said, it really was just all the ego stuff where it just he my bad.
No, you're good. I'm going to add in, I keep talking about allegedly. Allegedly, Kyland was supposed to be on USA 2, but he was made an alternate. I actually think it bodes well for him to be on 39 as opposed to USA 2. I know the viewership is more on CBS. There's a lot of people who just have CBS on because it's a nationally syndicated TV show. People who pay for MTV and watch the show are actual dedicated fans who will follow and interact with him. Probably the best thing for him was to not actually be on USA 2 so he could be on this season.
I fully agree. And like there's an idea that, he comes into the season having not done a show with anyone on here before, but Kyland is in the Los Angeles circles. He's in the reality TV realm. There's probably a couple people on this cast he's hooked up with before because that's what Kyland does. He's in those reality TV streets.
Before this season, he was hanging out with Nerys, Olivia, Jay, different places, of course, but like he came in with some good connections. He'd hung out with Michelle. They had a New Year's Eve party with Marie, of all people. Like he's immersed in this reality TV world, and that's what I like about him. He knows his lane, and it is, I don't want to work. I want to do reality TV and look pretty doing it. And I commend him for
it. I like Kyland a lot. I think he has a real shot to win because I do think he's that good of a competitor. I think like physical and mental, he has both those down. I think he has the skills to do well in a final. But he has to play a smart strategic game. On USA 1, he wanted to align with Tyson and be like, hey, let's run this final against each other, the two strongest guys. No, bro, you don't want to run the final against Tyson. You play the game to win, take that person out before the final.
I can hardly talk about USA 1, so I'm not, because what a horrible season and horrible outcome. But anyways.
Talking about horrible seasons, let's move on to some spies, lies, and allies stuff. Ed, who I think Ed is one of the biggest wasted casting spots on this show, and I feel very confidently about him making the final and just having a real shot to win. If you don't know at home, Ed is a former collegiate pole vaulter with state records in Pennsylvania. He went to Cornell University. He's an Ivy League graduated engineer. He is maybe taking some supplements. Basically, Ed is Hunter Barfield if he knew how to spell his own name. Like that's all it really is. He has the skills to go far. He's in a relationship to where he's not going to be hooking up with anyone. So he's going to be every guy in the house best friend, not making any waves, and people don't want to see him in elimination most likely. He has a great path to go far and a great opportunity to ruin the season by just being boring and corny.
God, is that spot on. So I reacted when you said his name. I forgot he was on the season. And I'm not just saying it to be funny. I really did forget. It didn't elicit a horribly negative reaction. But like on his season, he wasn't it that he was going to go in against Logan, but he couldn't because Logan was hurt. So he went in.
Logan was going to go in and he volunteered to take Logan's place because Logan is his friend, even though Logan doesn't even know his fucking name.
What an idiot. Logan was supposed to be on the season, allegedly. Thank God he was not. That would have ruined this for me. Okay, Ed, cheater, get out. And I don't like cheaters. Like, not needed. He's the less famous of his family. Like, his brother's on so many Netflix shows. He's well liked despite kind of being a douche. Their mom seems sweet. That doesn't make reality TV for me, though.
No, they're good for Netflix reality TV. They are not made for our MTV reality shows. And it's like I would be friends with Ed probably. I'd probably have a great time at a party with him. Probably drink some beers. Eat some pizza. He'd be a cool dude to hang out with. But in terms of like being good on this show and bringing entertainment to the table, no, he's not that. Just because he has a goofy confessional once every 10 episodes doesn't make him a good character. And yeah, as I say all this, I wouldn't be shocked if Ed wins this season because he has the skills to do well as a competitor, but I just don't want to. I just think the show would be better without him.
Don't want it. But it's a possibility, so yeah.
Someone else who is, I think, very charismatic, not for me personally. I don't enjoy him on TV, but undeniably great social game is Emanuel, who's back from Spies, Lies, and Allies. He's originally from Survivor. That season that he was originally on went like 187 days, 130 days. He came in second place. On Spies, Lies, and Allies, he was the rookie that went the farthest of all the men. Players like Kyle and Corey were getting thrown into elimination before Emanuel was. He was actually working the game socially and making friends, and he was a good competitor on the season. But I didn't really like him.
I wish his Survivor season were still filming, so he wouldn't have been on the show. I do feel slightly bad, but I don't. He was such a puppet on Spies, Lies, and Allies. But I do feel bad. He was dropped from Ride or Dies with Emmy. She made it very clear based on her Instagram stories because she said the N-word while she was singing the song. She didn't understand the meaning, so she says, whatever the case may be. Makes sense for her not to be on last season. Thus, he was dropped too. I don't think he makes sense on this season without her. As much as I cannot stand her, we talked about duos. Some people work on a duo. Emmy and Emanuel, they came in together working as that duo. I would want to see them again with other people. And since she's not on there, whether she can't be or wasn't asked, doesn't matter to me. I don't need him on there. He does nothing. I didn't find him charismatic either, so. Ugh.
No, it's not even that, like, Nicole Zenyatta is the same way. When Nicole Zenyatta is on our screen, she's just an obnoxious human being, but she's dating all these gorgeous women. She's always friends with all of these people. Like, she never gets thrown into elimination. Like, she's the most obnoxious person I know on TV, but she somehow, like, she has the charisma to make friends and connections and stuff like that. I feel the same way about Emanuel, where he had 2 showmances on his rookie season. He went far. He does well in challenges. Like, he checks a lot of boxes of what should make a good reality TV character. It just doesn't come through for me.
I have nothing else to say. I hope he proves me wrong. I hope maybe him and Michelle rekindle. That could be fun to see, playful even. If he doesn't hook up with people, it's a loss for me.
I mean, he'll hook up with people and they'll still be boring, in my opinion. There's just something that doesn't click with Emanuel for me. And it's like, I think he's a fantastic competitor.
I'm not ready for Tori to show up and him to go, hey, Tori, hey, like my friend. Oh, my God, I can't do it. She doesn't like you. She used you. Love Tori, by the way.
Yeah, big time Tori guy here. Okay.
Can I go? I love her. I won't hold you with my thoughts. Love her.
Okay. Next up, to cap off this cast, we got Horacio, who is the golden boy. He's the chosen one. He is so, like, miles ahead of everyone in terms of, like, what we've seen competitively. He tied the record for most wins in a single season as a rookie last year on Ride or Dies. Everyone loves him. He's the golden boy.
So, yes, and I'm not going to disagree. I'm very excited to see him on. Allegedly, the word of the podcast. He wasn't going to do this season. He had like some type of soccer showcase that he was finally like, you know what? I'm going to do this. Thank God. this is so in line with what people would want. Again, like Olivia, I mean, him and Olivia, let's just treat them as the same person in the sense that casuals love them. People on Twitter really like them too. She's more charismatic, I think, which I think is typical for the women. But he's also likable. I don't like boring people. He's a little boring, but he has a good story to go with it, so I can maybe let that lapse. Horacio could take this entire thing, and I would not be shocked.
I'm
In
actually
fact,
expecting it. I'm not even like I wouldn't be shocked. I'm expecting Horacio to take this because I think he's the best competitor there, and I don't even think he's a little boring. I think he's a lot boring, and yet there's just something like undeniably likable about him, where he just kills those challenges so much and has such a honest, humble demeanor to him that like I can't. Even the cynic in me is like that's a good dude.
yeah, yeah, I would love for him to win the entire thing, and I know that that would make for a boring winner. But if the trajectory is to stay on MTV beyond season 40, like we do need people like Horacio and Olivia to really step up as figureheads that could take a break or two in between. I doubt they will, and we'll just be on the same cycle. But we need more people. We just do. Jordan could probably do several more years. Bananas is getting gold. He's performing well in USA, sure, but like there's going to come a time where he just visibly looks like he shouldn't be competing there.
1,000%. No, it's Horacio has been the closest thing to a Jordan type figure since Jordan, where a guy stepped foot on the challenge and he felt on par competitively with the CTs and the Bananas and the Wesses. Like you just saw him like in his first challenge and like this guy's the real deal. There have been a lot of like, good competitors like Theo, like Zach, like I don't know, even Rogan and Joss, who they came out and they showed some stuff, but they weren't quite on the upper echelon. Horacio feels like Bananas. He feels like Land, not in a bad way. Like he feels like Landon. He feels like CT. He feels like a next level athlete who can carry the show as the physical competitor who dominates.
Yeah, I agree. I really have high expectations for him, and I don't see a world where he's not making it to the end. I'm well, maybe you
No,
do.
no,
I don't
no.
know.
It's funny because like you say that, and last season it's like he went to 5 eliminations. It's like I want to see Horacio go into 7 this time. I want to.
Fair. I mean, hey, rack him up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, if you can do it, I say do it.
He still technically never won a daily challenge. Him and Olivia, they've never won. They've never won a daily challenge as like a pair or individual. So not perfect.
Yeah, true. Would you like to hear my thoughts on who should have been cast for the men?
Absolutely. Like literally like a scarecrow would be better than some of these people.
It's a little controversial. I don't think you're going to be as bought in as the Natalie and Brittany, but I think we're in line. Joss. I think you put Joss on with Kaylee. It's a built-in duo, and I know we said we didn't love duos, but like we could play into it a little bit. Would make sense. Honestly, was robbed on Final Reckoning. Love Ashley. Would not take back her win ever. Robbed. Speculation on World of Worlds 2 that him and Kaylee were rigged out. This could be redemption for them. I think he would agree to come back if she said yes. However, he tweeted that he said no. I don't know if I always believe this. Maybe he did. Polly. We got Polly on USA for a few episodes. It does feel like his welcome back, but it would make sense to welcome him back to the main show on a season where, hey, you've never won. Let's really prove yourself. And I feel like he could be a huge threat. He's not very likable, but maybe he is when he's not trying to pander to Kara. I don't know. Next, you're going to hate this. Jose. Hear me out. The man wants to do it. He's dramatic. And I'm not, there are many people whose spot he could take, and he could still perform. Not that he's a great competitor, but like he showed more than just like groveling around on the ground. I think that he could have been a good casting choice, and with this lower level field of men, could have been good. Lastly, Kells. Would have really appreciated to see Kells. I think he's done with the show after Priscilla. Him and Priscilla were allegedly supposed to be on last season. She dropped. He got dropped. I think he really got a bad deal on Spies, Lies, and Allies, being with Tracy. So he could be fun to see. But that makes me wonder if we need Priscilla. No, we don't.
I fully agree with that cast list for the most part. I mean, I think Joss would just add more legitimacy to everyone else on the cast as a competitor. I think Polly would obviously just be a big character who is much needed on this type of season. Kel's another guy where he's just such a massive human, adds legitimacy. And Jose, like, I'm not a big fan, but I will say every season that Jose has done, there's a moment I walk away remembering. So he's not a bad cast member at all because like I, I don't forget Jose whenever on whatever show he's on.
I have two more, and then I'm done talking.
Go for it.
And they're women, so sorry to backtrack. Women run the show. If they could have bagged Angela Rummins, it would have been out of control. Throw in Alyssa Lopez, perhaps, which allegedly they were both asked and said no. Fair. If they could have got them on there with Kyland, it gives him some people from USA One. They could have really ran that because they're smart and really good competitors. It would have been a nice juxtaposition with the Ride or Die girls. Like it puts some CBS people who are also on the cast, which are really just Jay and Michelle, and I guess Olivia used to be CBS. They're now Peacock, but like they would have to choose between where do we fall here. That could have been really good. I would say maybe next time, but let's be realistic.
Hey, I'm all in on Angela. I thought she was like far and away the MVP of USA One. I thought she's one of the best competitors I've seen on this show in a while. And I agree with you. Like watching her and Alyssa create their numbers against the Ride or Die girls would have been just such a fun, like little battle on this season. Watching like the tug of war between them, that would have been great.
And not that anyone would ever want to do a season with their legitimate ex, which I know that Tyler's her legitimate ex. He's done fairly well on USA. He's obviously a fan favorite. If MTV could somehow finagle getting them on the same season, I'm telling you, it would be smart. It won't ever happen, but it would be great, great television.
On Big Brother, I really like Tyler, and I did not care for Angela. And when it comes to the challenge, I love Angela so much, and I'm like, get Tyler off my TV screen right now. He talks, and I'm like, just get him off my screen.
He might be too nice, whereas she is just cold.
He has the Big Brother confessionals and all his challenge confessionals, and that's what kills me. It's just like, who are you talking to right now? You're not. Who are you speaking to in this moment?
Yeah, I also think that jury's so out on this person for me. Cassidy from USA 2, like she's been in 2 eliminations. She's kind of like a snippy person. Like allegedly she was asked to. I get why they didn't. If you don't understand the timeline or like don't know the timeline, Michelle literally finished filming USA 2, came back for a Taylor Swift concert, which I think Alan's tweeted about. It's so funny, and then left to go film season 39. So like there was a quick turnaround. I get why people would want to break, but God, it's so funny.
So I love Cassidy. So I genuinely love Cassidy so much, but it's because she kind of has that Kellyanne to her where like she's just not aware of the game everyone else is playing, but still takes everything so personal and emotionally. And she's not a bad player, and she's not a great player at the same time. It's like
You watched her Survivor season, correct?
Yeah, and I thought, here's the thing. Yes.
I felt like she deserved to win the whole thing.
I did too, but watching this challenge season, I'm like, here's the thing. In no world will I ever think Gabler should have won. In no world will my stomach sit right that Gabler should have won Survivor. Watching Cassidy play on this challenge season, I'm kind of like, I see why she lost more than why he won. It's just
there was probably lots more paranoia and just being annoying that we didn't get to see, but yeah, and Carla, but that's enough on her.
God, Jesse from that season was such a good player. I'm so sad he didn't win. There were so many good players on that season that just didn't make it to the end.
Yeah. I forgot about Jesse, but maybe he should have won. I think I'm thinking just final 3 Cassidy, but you're right. Jesse was like
top. Jesse was good. Alec, the guy Alec was fantastic. He made the hat where he tricked everyone to give him the beads. I thought that was one of my favorite Survivor moves ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shows you how excited we are for this Challenge 39 cast that we are talking about past Survivor seasons, which have also been really bad. I do feel like 39 feels a lot like a transition season. We're still getting these domineering previous champs and Kaz coming in to, to come in and try to. I like Kaz. I love Kaz, but she's not done much to prove herself. She's won twice, so let me shut up. She has proven herself. She just bores me. You're on a season with your ex-boyfriend who you had a tumultuous relationship with, and you don't cause beef. It makes sense as a competitor, not as a viewer. I have to draw this line all the time. She's there. She's going to do an elimination. Good for her. I need to be easier on her, but I don't think we'll ever see her back. Could be wrong, though. But this season feels like a transition season of let's get you introduced to some new faces. I can't imagine 40 doesn't have old school vets on it. It would only make sense for a milestone season to have that. But this feels like one that you got to grit your teeth and maybe bear it for a little bit. And then maybe we'll be acclimated. Like, hey, we're bought into these people. The rest of the season's going to be great. I don't know, though.
I'm just hoping for the best. I just want a good season of the challenge. That's really all I'm hoping for at this point. I'm not the most excited I've ever been, but we're going to be here. We're going to be breaking it down. And yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, we will get All-Stars 4 at some point. We talked about this back in February when we were finishing the last season of the main show, how we were excited to start doing that probably in the summer. It is officially fall, and we will get to winter, I'm pretty sure, before we even hear any rumblings of it. That'll be fun. Maybe this will be fun. I'm going to say positive because you're right. I haven't minded USA 2. This could be good. It could be a refresher. So yeah, going to remain positive.
I had the lowest excitement for USA 2, and it's been good. Mm-hmm. Not bad, good. And if we can keep this momentum going into All-Stars 4, I'm really excited for that. I do laugh every time I check my Twitter, and my pinned tweet is the Challenge All-Stars 4 cast breakdown, and I'm like, I just look at it it says January 19th or something like that, and I'm just. It's approaching a 1-year anniversary at this point of when I posted my preview blog for a season we thought was coming right around the corner.
But hey, 39, October 25th, special on the 18th, I'm pretty sure, to meet the cast. If you don't know them, I'd watch it. I'm going to watch it because I like the show.
Yeah. Watch it, everyone. Watch this podcast. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, the YouTube channel, Caffeine Confessionals Podcast. Luke, where can they follow you on Twitter? Or do you want them to follow you on Twitter?
You can if you find me. If you don't find me, it's not a big deal. I don't really tweet that much. Try to stay low-key.
Okay. Follow me on Twitter at the Allan and CF Confessionals on Twitter. Overall, let's get excited for a good season.
Yep.
Hopefully. All right. Signing off.